this actually makes a lot of sense in a couple of actual human medical conditions we can talk about. One of which is progeria. Progeria is the rapid onset of aging in children, an extremely rare condition, extremely tragic one, in which a little child undergoes classic geriatric aging in the space of a very quick period and dies. This phenomenon has no single gene effect. There's not a gene that makes progeria happen. There is instead a wide range of subtle effects that are extremely difficult to analyze and nail down by which this particular child ends up with this condition. It's not like classic Mendelian genetics where one parent has a hidden proclivity for this to happen that happens to have gotten passed on to the child in a more effective form. That didn't happen at all. We're talking about parents that really have nothing special genetically about them at all. Under these conditions, a trait can be maintained in a population because there's no way, genetically speaking, to just knock it out through selection's activity. And also, it's extraordinarily rare. Contrast that to something that occurs due to genetic activity only very late in life, such as Huntington's disease, in which the genetics are extremely simple, and in which the genetics, under any other circumstances, were they to be active earlier in life, could in fact be reduced by selection to an extremely small, perhaps even absent percentage in the population. But since the onset of Huntington's occurs late in humans' lives relative to the time that ordinarily and historically most of us would be dead in a generation, means that it persists in the population. Selection cannot get rid of it. It simply is passed along well after the time that any individual has contributed genetically to the next generation. These two examples neatly bracket Medawar's point that late-acting genes that are deleterious to the life of the individual, but they operate late in life relative to a particular point, will persist in the population. By this argument, all of us are loaded with genetic time bombs, such that we are knocked off by our own genetic profile once we hit a given age.